Good morning. How's everyone doing? Remove that. Don't know why I bother adding that. There we go. Good. Totally unplanned. Just got back from coaching. Did a few hours this morning. A couple of hours of PT work. A little bit of 2-on-1 action. But yeah, had a lot of fun. Sunday morning. Different crowd on a Sunday morning. So our gym is High Rocks affiliate as well. So you get we keep to the classic Thursday and Sunday rest days. Always have done since 2012. And adding on High Rocks has done a big service to the community, where it's added in sessions predominantly on the Thursday and the Sunday where we can get a different crowd in. Hello, we've still got the names. I'm sorry, I can't see your name, sir. It is 20 past 11 in the morning, 11:21. Very well, sir. But yeah, the High Rocks sessions have allowed us to get a totally different and new crowd in on a Thursday and a Sunday, which is awesome. So I'm doing my PT work alongside those classes, and it's great to see a lot of new faces. New York, New York. Got a couple of friends over there. Nice. The Glintons and many others, especially the Glintons. Hope you're well, sir. Why are you up? Why are you up so early? Let me know. But yeah, I was watching this morning, doing my PT work with, I won't name them, but my can you call clients friends? There's a good question. Does that breach? Lovely. Tell you what I did this morning. I won't go into a long story, but I had a caterpillar cocooning on my. Actually, I'll show you this one. Cocooning on my front window. Only when you're sleeping with them. Yeah, I don't do that. I used to when I PT'd my wife. Where are we? Fairly relaxed show this morning. Right, so let me put up this picture. I'll show you what I did this morning. It sounds very similar to what you're doing now, sir. Image file. There we go. Now, it doesn't look very good picture, does it? It doesn't on mine anyway. My hand looks all covered in. I don't know why that's done that. That is. So that was. Where's the picture gone? A cocoon. We've had a caterpillar cocooning at our front window all week, and the kids have been watching it. And it fell off overnight. So I was sat having my coffee in the lovely sun, getting some vitamin D this morning, about 6, like you. Just absorbing it. I'm 40 now, so I understand why my granddad and my dad used to just sit outside on their own with a cup of coffee in the morning. Never used to get that. I do now. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, clients. So I was watching the High Rocks classes, and it's a brand new crowd, and a lot of them, many of them, I don't think are very familiar with with our style of gym. I just realised I've got some. What's this? I promise you, it's not what it looks like. Can't be having that, can I? Jism on my top. Um, God, this is the ADHD channel today, isn't it? Yeah, that they don't look, they don't appear to be very accustomed to the style of gym that we offer, which is lovely because it means it's an opportunity to involve people and get them into strength training and S&C style training, as opposed to just running all the time. But the theme of this week for me, and do you ever have that? I don't know if you do, but these notions keep coming up, and you see it, and it's that I can't remember what it is. It's like people that see 11:11 on the clock all the time, and then they realize it, and then they go, "Oh, it's always saying 11:11." It's just that they notice it, and subconsciously they notice it, so then it brings to the consciousness, and then you see it and you acknowledge it rather than any other time. And it's pattern recognition. It feeds into our monkey psyche. Um, I get that with themes all the time. Where we're homeschooling, I'm having to think of kind of themes and education and motivations and ways to communicate with my little monkeys. And then obviously being a coach, you have that as well. So you want to obviously constantly educate yourself and find new and exotic ways to talk, to educate, and to um, get people um, doing what they should, I guess, and leading people to where you feel they should do. And once if you've got people's trust, I think they will understand. And so trust is one big thing, and then communication is another. So being able to communicate what you are trying to get across is obviously massively important, which is why you're better off having a coach that can talk well, communicate with empathy, with passion, and with real drive to make people better. You're better off having one person like that that's less potentially qualified academically or done the courses and get them then to do the practical work and learn than someone that is massively qualified up in theory. And I think you're probably going to see, it's my prediction for the next couple of years, you're probably going to see a lot of the online coaches that don't do in-person stuff suffer quite a bit, because of the AI ability is going to get only better, and programming, as we know, is relatively straightforward in terms of getting the skeleton together. It's the fun bit. If you're a coach and you're affiliate owner, the fun bit is actually programming. It's awesome. But the online side of things, it requires currently interaction, one-on-one, because that's the selling point. It's not the actual programming that is the selling point. It's the interaction, I believe. Um, the personalities, the people behind it. Now, when we get to a point where people recognize that they can easily simulate what they're being sent, if they are people that work out on their own, if they're people that work out in a normal gym, if they're people that work out in an open gym, they will eventually get to a point where they realize that. Whereas in person, people that value in person training, coaching, community, i.e., affiliates, they will not be able to have AI replace what they offer. Um, what we offer, if people do value that community and that environment, the programming is secondary to everything else. Um, the coaching and the community will always be the unique selling point of the gym rather than the other bits. Um, Now, the reason I brought that up, and it all links up really, is the theme that I've had, the recurring thought that I've had, and the thing that keeps coming up, and I keep spotting it everywhere, um, is this word intent. So, um, intention. We can look up. Let's have a look at. Like I said, this is all ad hoc. Um, fine. Let me. So Chat GBT. Let me bring this up. Define intent. Intent is the purpose or goal behind an action, statement, or plan, especially what someone is trying to achieve. Depending on the context, everyday language, underlying aim or reason for doing something, legal, business and marketing, and technology. So it's basically, this is what I like to see. It's basically the why driving the what. I love that. The reason I love that is because it basically backs up what I'm about to say. um, so often in uh, our space, our media, even the wider community, the fitness community, you hear people asking, you got to know your why. What's your why? What's your, what's your driver? Um, all of that comes down to intent. Like, what are you trying to achieve from the action? What's your purpose behind what you're doing here? And I think, generally speaking, most people, if you think about positions, situations, and issues that people find themselves in, one, the a lot of the time, the reason they've got into that position is because they lacked intent, especially since the pandemic. I think that whole year it knocked a lot of people off their intent, made them think, why am I doing this? There's no purpose, no goal. But also the flip side of it is the way to get out of many problems is have intent. So think about any problem that you might have in any walk of life. Whether and this is what I say to my kids, what can you do? Um, you got to ask yourself firstly, what you got to assess the situation, you got to brief where you're at. That's the first step. Be logical with it. Secondly, is uh, what have I got at my disposal? And then three, what's my plan? What can I do? What's the intent of getting out of this? So why am I wanting to get out of this first of all? And again, reflect that back into what we know and love at the affiliate training. How many times have you heard across the board, whether it is at the whiteboard briefing, whether it's when you sat down over a coffee talking about your goals with your coach, whether it's when you're at home assessing, should I continue to pay affiliation fee, a fee as a gym in the new year when people are looking at their goals? It's always the intent that plays the biggest part here. It's always the purpose as to why stuff, and the positions that you find yourself in when you feel like nothing's going your way or whatever. It's always when there's a lack of intent there. Now, also, where's Instagram? Our best hour of the day, best hour of your day, best best hour of their day. Um, Put a post up. If you can't define the stimulus, now this is a big thing for me. I all the coaches out there, you'll probably have buzzwords that you sometimes say a little bit too often, and you catch yourself saying it. Um, for me, it is stimulus, and it's one of those words that I don't hear often when I drop into gyms or when I'm away or even at the gym we're at. I don't hear people asking or using the word stimulus, and I don't know if it's a throwback. I don't know if it's something that we got taught early days of CrossFit that's sort of not really been Driven too much? But yeah, stimulus. Now, if you are an affiliate attendee, so if you're a member or a community member at a CrossFit gym, ask yourself the last time, one, that a coach said the word stimulus. I'll even give you intent. So during that whiteboard briefing, can your coach define intent? Have they told you the purpose of the session? What is stimulus? So the workout's designed to develop in your athlete that includes how long it should be, how long it should take, sorry, what it should feel like, how it should be broken up, and the effort demand. Yeah, here we go. So know what the workout is supposed to do. Now, if you're a coach at a gym, firstly, obviously ask yourself what I did. Am I using the vocabulary first and foremost? So am I using the right words to uh, parlay this to the members? But also, have I been briefed myself? Have I been told the stimulus? Can I figure this out? Have I asked whoever's programmed it? Have I asked them about the stimulus and the intent? Because a lot of the time, the actual programmers who are sitting down and programming this, like Dan does across our gyms where I'm at, like the programmers at the big houses do. So HWPO, Mayhem, Sentinel. The beautiful thing about Sentinel at the moment is that you're still able to directly message one of the original programmers and ask them all this question, and it's in the literature when it's put out. Hello, Vidush. How are you, sir? Um, if your programmer hasn't explained and sent what the stimulus should be or the intent, it's then on you as the coach to, one, try to figure out yourself, but two, feedback, ask about what the stimulus is, because every single session that's programmed should have intent. And for me, this is the difference between the really good programming and programmers and the ones that have fallen by the wayside a bit and cater for the sweaty crowd. And when I say the sweaty crowd, I don't mean the Scottish crowd. Um, I mean the crowd that just want to come in and get sweaty. Yeah, exactly. The thing is that about Sentinel that I hope many people on this channel know and understand is that Taylor is an L3 trying to get to the L4. And obviously you've got Bryce now who's under Taylor's wing. He knows what he's doing and he knows our methodology. And the one of the most unique things about what we offer under the umbrella of CrossFit and as CrossFit trainers and coaches is that if we've got to a certain position, we understand that it is a scientific process. It's observable, measurable, and repeatable. Yeah, exactly. So we understand that observable, measurable, and repeatable is how we are going to drive results, hence the intensity bit. Now, the sweaty crowd, the sweaty lot that come into the gym, they're the ones that don't really care about that. They don't worry too much about intent because their intent is driven on sweat, which for them is sweat equity or sweat equity. That's a good word, sweat equity. You can say it properly. They value sweating as having had a good workout, which endorphins, and they think that sweaty equals productive. That's fine. And for me, that's the box that High Rocks ticks. For me, the event, everything. What we offer as affiliates and what we offer as a methodology is so much more than that, or it can be at the affiliates where the coaches are determined to, in their own unique way, first of all, understand the crowd that they're working with. You have to understand the intent of the individuals turning up to the gym. You then have to understand the intent of the session that's being prescribed. And then you have to have your intent as a coach to parlay that to them. There's all this intent going on. And that word intent has kept coming up this week. Um, and it's something that I'm trying to drive home with the kids, even when they're out on their bikes playing. The intent there is to play, to enjoy, to have fun, but find some way to find it productive because it can be. And as adults, I appreciate that we do need fun. It's very hard if you're a really hardworking corporate stooge who has the hour of their day where they nip to the gym in the morning or at lunch or after work, and you just want to release, relax, get endorphins, and go home. But that person, if you are going to a CrossFit gym, if your coaches know you well enough, they will understand your position that you're at, and they will meet you where you're at in terms of um, getting the best out of you for that day. But if those members have put their trust in you as a gym, as an affiliate, as coaching staff, that trust also comes with a responsibility, and PTs will know this all too well, is that you are responsible for them being productive, but also results. Because in a year's time, if those people haven't seen results, they will move somewhere else. They will go somewhere where they're being told this, that, and the other about results. Their friends down the road that's had results somewhere else might not be as flashy. They might not be allowed to do whatever they want to do, but they're getting results. And that's what we can offer with affiliates. And that word intent just it kept coming up this week. And at one of the gyms that I work at, the Sports Institute, it's where all the island athletes go to train, but across sports, not CrossFit. Above the wall is on purpose with purpose. Now it's a bit cheesy, purpose, intent. I think they're malleable, interchangeable. But it's there above the door when people walk into the gym, on purpose with purpose. When you are training for a sport, and again, this is where methodology, sport lines tend to blur a little bit for me. When you're training for a sport, every single rep that you are doing should have intent towards a larger goal, towards a larger purpose. And for me as a coach, when I'm coaching a group of people, I can see the people that are there to move with intent and people that are there just to move and to feel good about themselves. And that's cool. Now, I think they can be the same thing. Move with intent, move into be productive and to get genuinely better. I think they can be the same thing. And that comes down to communication, and that's all this is all about. Um, and I know it's a bit trickier, but this goes across the board. Is eating, nutrition, fuel, the intent of that. It's a question that you can start to once you get on that bandwagon of all the time asking yourself, what's the intent? What's the purpose of what I'm doing here? It's tricky not to apply it to other things. And I think that's Boz said to me when I did my L1 about this 2-year initial cycle of a CrossFitter. They get all the newbie gains, they get a bit of skill development, they get to 2 years, and then they ask themselves the real hard questions. And it's that 2-year magic period. I didn't know what he was on about at the beginning, but my God, it hit me like a ton of bricks after 2 years. Asking ourselves why and about the intent and the purpose. Our nutrition is exactly the same thing. And once you begin to ask yourself why, purpose, intent, it goes across the board. And what we have with CrossFit is we start to begin to mold the people's minds into having more clarity around decision making. Because when you are put in the pressure cooker of a class environment, when you're doing a horrible 20-minute AMRAP that absolutely sucks balls, And all you want to do is walk out. Every single minute of that, every single second of that, you are making decisions. You are making positive, productive decisions as to I must work, I must move, I must lift, I must pull, whatever it is. You're telling yourself and you're overriding that thing of I don't need to do this. Once you start to break that in your mind, you then apply that to everything else in your life, whether it's your partner, whether it's you working with your kids, whether it's you at work, going for that promotion, getting a new car upgrade, buying new clothes, whatever it is, you begin to filter totally differently to how you did beforehand. And that happens after 2 years. The amount of people at your affiliate that having done CrossFit for 2 years have gone for a promotion and got it. If you've never thought about that, go around your gym and ask people how many of you have got a promotion the last 2 years. It's staggering. It makes you clearer. It gives you clarity. It gives you intent and drive and purpose. That is the benefit of being in that environment for me, anyway. And one thing we all strive for is food, nutrition. And it's a very rare person that doesn't break on nutrition, that's solid all the way through. And I think you can tell that by just talking to them. But again, the tricky, and this is the tricky bit as well, is, and if you think about it really, really hard, the intent of food, it's not just fuel. Um, the intention of food can be to enjoy flavor and taste and satiation, which is where flavor comes in, which is where the sugary stuff comes in. So there's a tricky borderline there. And the trick there is education and understanding the intent. Why am I eating here? Okay, I can eat for flavor and taste, but also, it is fuel at the end of the day, which is why having the testing center for your nutrition protocol, i.e., the gym floor, that is where we put our nutrition to the test. I've heard it many times of CrossFit as being a nutrition protocol, um, that or a health protocol. The nutrition is the metric that we use, and then we test it when we're in the gym. It's one way of looking at it. Not necessarily totally agree with that, but it's one way of thinking about it. So I just realised that Jason Ackerman was on my screen for about 20 minutes there. But yeah, I think intent is obviously very important. But again, you can go down a route of every single thing having intention. And as someone that knows full well what full blown OCD looks like in a family member, sometimes or often it's good to have an outlet of release away from intent. Mate, sometimes the intent is to relax, have fun, and enjoy. But again, you have to understand that intent before you do it, and it has to be the intent of that. You have to know that going into it, um, without being too mechanical. Talking of that mechanical, I am going today. We're going for a walk in a bit with the kids, and then I'm going to, what would you call it? Stock car driving. So we've got a racetrack on the island. What was that game? Destruction Derby. Do you remember that? What console would that have been on? PlayStation, I think. Yeah, we're going to one of those things where they smash up cars on the track and all that. That'll be fun. First time kids doing that. But you think about the intent there. What's the intent there? Well, for us, it's to have fun and to watch cars getting smashed up. For the drivers, it's to have a bit of fun as well. What was the other thing I wanted to talk about? I don't know why you'd know. But let me know how you're doing in the chat. What's going up? What you saying? It must be between 6 and 7 a.m. over there for a lot of you. In other news, we do have Coaches Congress tickets. Obviously, still the competition for Coaches Congress. I put up a post. Let's have a look at the Coaches Congress website, shall we? Let's have a looky hooky. I had Henrik on Tuesday, as you guys say, Tuesday. Let's share the screen, shall we? So 5 to choose from. However, the one that I am concerned with today is London. That's only 54 days away. Today is the last day. If you're going to be purchasing tickets, today's the last day that you can use that 40% early bird discount. After today, it's back to regular price. Now, let me show you what tickets include. 2-day seminar, lunch included both days, morning workouts with Mayhem. And also, I don't know if everyone knows this, so this may be worth me posting. You do get tickets for Argentina-South Africa rugby match, and also a free pair of Velites shoes. Ooh. Obviously, then you've got the VIP and the VIP Plus is sold out, but the VIP tickets include a hell of a lot more. But today is the last day of buying those tickets at the early bird price, so come along to that. Now, the talkers that we've got, speakers, and exhibitors. Got Mr. Rich Fronin himself, Annie Dorsdottir. This is going to be a big one, you know. That's Coach Perry and postmenopausal. You got Henry from British Weightlifting, Chris from Two Brain. You got doctors, got movement analysis, and the Facundo's coming. Can't wait. Love to meet him. And then you've got a lot of other people from like financial experts, sales, Rory, Raw Kids. Now, I'm really interested in speaking to Jane here from Raw Kids because that's such a cool thing. Actually, I might try and get her on the show. You know, Raw Kids is really cool. Oh, amazing! Cool. So, Vidush, are you in Australia then? Do you live? Sorry, South Africa. That'd be awesome. I know I said Australia. Why don't I go back to this? Hey. Yeah, we've got systems. So, and you've got Matthias. Obviously, Matthias is coming on the show on Tuesday. So I can't wait to speak to him, ask him all about this and Velites and the story behind it, which is cool. And then you've got Erg Shoot, Matt and Flo there that are making big waves in the comp scene. That's cool. So there's so much going on. There's so much information, so many exhibitions. I know Daniel is going to be there. Daniel Chaffee is going to be there as well. A lot of the seminar staff are going to be walking around and talking. There's so much going on. Any affiliate and any coach in Europe, but specifically in the UK, get booking these tickets because it is an insane, it's an insane opportunity for us that comes around once a year to up your game, to meet people, to chat, to be part of the community that goes with it. Often we find ourselves feeling like we're in a bubble and unable to talk or share ideas and to learn. Any coach worth their salt does want to obviously improve and get better. So, and also one thing is that this isn't just CrossFit. CrossFit is one part of this, but this is for any coach in the fitness industry. We've got weightlifting, strongman, got powerlifting, we've got regular gyms, Globo gym styles, everything. This goes across the board. And Henrik did mention the other day on the show that they're looking at an American Congress in 2026, which would be awesome. So yeah, keep an eye out on that. Coaches Congress, everyone. So, should we have a look at the week ahead for the channel? When I say the channel, I mean the Savon channel. Let's have a look, shall we? Awesome. So Spraguealicious. When's the 10th? Today. Got James Sprague on today. That's awesome. And then tonight we've got Glinton and Dents. All the girls, Glintons and Dents, giving their update, reflections on the games. And then, so myself, I have got Matthias on Tuesday from Velites. And also, we have got Ed Morrison from CrossFit coming on. He's Australian based. That's Vidish. That's why I said it. It was right in front of me on my notes. I've got Ed Morrison, who is seminar staff and I believe involved with the country management over in Australia, which will be awesome. Initially, one thing that I wanted to do was focus my attention predominantly on Europe, but I think it's wise advice from someone, but also it's really important that we reflect and we remember that we are part of a global thing. You can't, on one hand, say we want to be global, we want to, yeah, and then just isolate yourselves completely. It's just not the way that things move forward, is it? We've got a lot to be proud of over here. A lot of great people and a lot of a wide community that we need to explore and to elevate. But at the same time, we've got a global one as well, which we can talk about. Now, Gretchen, who was on Friday evening, had Gretchen on from the IF3 International Functional Fitness Federation. What a lady she is! An attorney, mum, 4 times games athlete, and president of the IF3. I mean, is there anything she's not doing? I struggle to put my pants on sometimes. IF3 is something that I think we should explore more, and I think a lot of people should have a look into. If you're someone that wants to compete and also represent your country. Now, one thing we talked about the other day on Friday was there's not a hell of a lot of opportunity anymore for people to represent their country in functional fitness. We used to have the international invitational where that was so cool, and everyone harks back to that. It was such a cool time in CrossFit when we had, we had Australia. Well, before that, we had USA versus the rest of the world in 13. What an incredible thing! And over here, it was on Eurosport. So in Europe, there's Eurosport. It's not that big anymore, I don't think, although they hosted the Olympics, so they're pretty big still. But it was a great competition to be at. We went there, and people love representing a nation. And the IF3 gives a really good opportunity for people to do that regionally. And Vidish, if you are in South Africa now, if you live in South Africa, you have got the South African Functional Fitness Federation. Do you know about that? Is that something that you're aware of? The ultimate goal for them is to get to the Olympics and have our sport of functional fitness federation represented. What do you think dedicating 2 days a week to basic movement patterns at intensity so that you'll retain a sweat crew but also have not yeah. So there's a lot of answers to this. So our gym sticks to the CrossFit sessions as being off, so rest days Thursday, Sunday. So you have to remember if people are members of the CrossFit side of stuff, they haven't got a session on a Thursday or a Sunday. So having those sessions on those other days allows people to have options and to have choice. There is a dual membership where you can do both if you want. Although the whole point in rest days is to get people out of the gym to have it, applicable functional fitness, to be able to use it outside of the gym, but to give them an enforced rest where we see it all the time. People think they watch David Goggins videos and they think they're supposed to train hard every day. But it's not really the message that what we're trying to put over. So, but like you said, it's only 2 days a week. Now, I'm very, very fortunate with being at the gym that I'm at. I don't program for the gym directly myself, like I used to at my gyms that I owned. But Dan, who is the owner and programmer, is extremely well versed, very knowledgeable, and the the cycling that we go through on programming. It does include days where, again, the intent isn't to completely ruin yourself. I think out of the 5 days that we offer programming for in the gym for CrossFit, I think two of them are actually less intense. They're not scored, so we won't write anything up on the board. It's mostly about moving with intent for the purpose of movement. Um, an example of that might be what do we do? So one workout we've done this week that was really challenging was some squatting to start with, only 4 sets. So back squats, um, 10-15 minute warm up at the beginning of the sessions. This is the hour, 10-15 minutes of proper prep and movement and understanding and briefing. Morning, Craig. And then back squats for 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, it was built to a set of 6 at 70%, 4 at 80%, a double at 90%, and then max reps at 70%. So you had 4 sets to do, ending at max reps on 70%. And then we had a workout with a 16-minute cap. And that was a hard session. So that session, I'm only telling you this for a broad reference. That session was 3 rounds of 400-meter run, 20 deadlifts, and this is the important bit, at 50% of your 1RM. So it's all relative to the individual. I think percent should be used more often in workouts to make it more relative rather than RX weights, or the RX is a percentage. And then 6 wall walks. So 400-meter run, 20 deadlifts, 6 wall walks, 3 rounds, 60-minute cap. Was tough, was real tough. I think it took me just over 15 minutes. My weight was 110 kilos because my current deadlift is 220. This is all kilos. I don't know what that is in pounds. But I found that really challenging, and that was tough. My body felt a bit beaten up. And that was Friday's workout. Thursday, I'd done a bit of movement for just movement. So active recovery on bits of kit, bit of bodybuilding work. The Wednesday session was not scored. It wasn't for time. It was just work your way through this at your own pace. Now, I hate saying these words, but someone of my experience, someone that's been around in the industry long enough, I know what that means. And again, this is really good point. The intent of that session was parlayed extremely well by one, Dan, who's sending the program into the coaches, and two, the coaches that are in the room telling and briefing the session. There's plenty of time. It's not rushed. It was a 20-minute movement piece throughout the session where we ticked those boxes and we moved with intent and quality. It was chest to bar, development, and strict press. And it was just move through those. It wasn't high intensity. The intensity was in the movement, the quality, and potentially the load. But that high intensity piece really does need to be examined by a lot of people. You do not need to bury yourself every session. There should be a minimum of 2 sessions a week that are purely for movement and for quality, and to understand about intent, to have a slightly lower heart rate, and to work your way through. You do not bury yourself. It just does not work. Have a look at the extreme. The people that bury themselves pretty much every day, the games athletes, they burn out. They don't carry on doing CrossFit. They find their own version of CrossFit that they want to pump and sell, which doesn't look like CrossFit. And then they go on Instagram telling you about CrossFit shit, and you should do my programming because it's not as intense. If you do it right, if it's executed well, the CrossFit methodology is perfection. And I won't have anyone say anything else. Move Max. Move Max. As with anything, I don't like to have many strong opinion. I don't have a strong opinion on anything until I'm extremely well informed. CrossFit, I have a strong opinion on because I'm extremely well informed. There's not many other things in life that I am. Um, from what I've seen and I've asked, Move Max offers something different for intent than CrossFit offers, what High Rocks offers, and from what triathlon offers from that pyramid the other day that came from ChatGPT. Um, Now, here's the thing about me. I actually thought about this yesterday. Is I don't care about being late to the party. I don't need to be the first person to know something. And I quite like that. Get that from my dad. You can call it laziness, you can call it lack of urgency, whatever you might want to call it. But I don't have the urge to know things before everyone else. And that served me quite well in just general life. I'm not in a rush to find out stuff. I'd rather hear all the information, not speculate, and just sit and read and understand. Um, and again on this channel, I don't want to put out content, and this is just me, until I understand. And this is why I want to ask questions on these shows, which is why Savon said to me early days, do the live shows, do the live shows, because that's what I'm my personality and what I'm like. Ask the questions and find out live on air, which was very, very wise of him to say because he recognized that early days in me. Which is also why and I will precurse this by saying there's a massive demand. I know I'm in a minority and I'm not putting this down whatsoever. So please remember that precursor. I don't I don't find it interesting about uh don't even call it gossip, rumors. Let's call it rumors. So rumors about things and hearing it from there first and hearing it from the horse's mouth um and clips and sound bites that offer early access to information about these people. It's not it's not what fuels my appetite. Doesn't feed my appetite, let's say. Um I'm not in a rush to find out. And again, there's it's part of the human condition, but like it served us very well for a long period of time being the first to know. Throughout history, our tribe, our people, we needed to understand threat and danger. We love hearing that rumor or gossip, whatever you want to call it, because it feeds that hunger for us to be safe and to understand positions we're in, purely from an anthropological process and from a psychological purpose. Understanding things first really did help. However, we still have that in here. That mechanism is still up here. And I think we don't need it for what we're applying it to. And I think if we fall into the trap of demanding and wanting all of that, we are then constantly in this state of needing to know early and the next thing before everyone else. And it creates this whole atmosphere of people rushing to be the first people to know and to first people to put out content and the first people to do this. And it might well be what sells tickets, what drives views, that gets followers and what does all that kind of thing. But does it, is it productive? Is it adding value? Is it contributing to the productive moving forward? And again, I come back to that word that we started with, intent. The intent of all of this should be for the betterment and productivity of what we're trying to get. It should be underlying all of this. If we really think hard, if we really go down to brass tacks, it should be getting more affiliates to open and for getting more people into the affiliates. That should be the driver behind all of this. And for me, every show that I'm doing on this channel is, will it drive people into the gyms and get more people doing what we know works? For me, that's the purpose and that's the intent. Now, I've defined my intent. I'm not saying that intent should be right for everyone else because it won't be. We need all the boxes ticked. Yeah, and it might be because I'm a 40-year-old man that's just miserable. I don't know. In other news, I'm deciding about what to get here. I've got an appointment. Don't tell my wife. Got an appointment on Wednesday to get some stuff here, so I'm getting that sorted this week. That'll be fun. Again, some people look at these and think, what's the point? What's the intent? What's the purpose? I'll tell you mine, shall I? It's a life story. It's a pattern. It's a tapestry of everything that's happened and will happen and is going on in my life and what I feel is my purpose. And it's a demonstration of that. Nothing more, nothing less. That's what it is. And I like it. And I like to look at it sometimes and remind myself. And these ones are my family names in Old Saxon, up to my grandparents. But I need to add another one in a few months, don't I? Baby names. That's a tough one. Especially if you've had two like we have years ago and you have another one. Yeah. We're going with A. We want to go with A. Got Athena and Adonis already with Greek heritage on my wife's side. We thought it'd be good. There's a few names that we really like, but again, we're not going to find out the sex of the baby before it's born. So we'll have a list. We have a 20-week scan on Wednesday just gone. That was nice to see it. Oh my God. Ultra scans have got so much better in the last few years. So on the actual ultra scan, it was showing the heart obviously pumping. And they add in now blue and red graphics to show the blood going in and out of the heart and the organs. You can see they've added in that, like the technology is able to add it, show that it can show the blood in and out so that you can see visually how well things are operating. That was amazing. It first came up on the screen. I was like, what's that? And yeah, it's amazing. So cool. Technology, eh? Oh, right. So we talked about baby names, coaches congress, intent, tattoos, me being a miserable bastard. Fantastic. Right. So, oh, and me going to a thing soon. Now I've got to go for a walk in a minute. So, before I sign off, nearly been an hour. Blimey. Like I said, we've got Mateus on Tuesday from Velites. That'll be cool. 11 o'clock GMT. So, hour ago, we'll be there until 6, 7 a.m. over in the US, which would be cool. Get a few of you on there. And then I've got a show on Sunday next week, which should be cool. And tomorrow night, I am on with Steve on the Defiant show, which let me bring that up. Steve's awesome. Steve was at the games. Steve's sent me these t-shirts, which is something to look out for. Where are we? Let me just. I could spell, wouldn't it? Sir. There we go. So there I am. Steve wants another picture. I haven't sent him one. I won't. Um, so yeah, Defiant show tomorrow. I think it's 7 p.m. tomorrow night. That'd be good. We'll look at the game. So Steve was at. Go and subscribe to this, by the way, guys. Steve was at the games and he met the Glintons. He had a good time having a look round as a spectator, which is nice. As a vendor, it's always nice to be able to just enjoy an environment rather than just selling stuff. I just picked that up. I got that, by the way, which is a microphone thing. Can I tell you a secret, right? I need to find a way because I spend so much time in the gym coaching and moving. Cost of living. So, hello, Justin. It's all perspective, isn't it? I guess is the start of that answer. But I moved from Greater London, and London's not cheap. So when we moved here, most things felt cheaper. Most things felt more affordable because of where we had moved from. So I guess it would be similar. Someone moving from New York to, I don't know, Ohio, like very, very rural. We've gone from very urban to very rural. Now, some things, and it's in an island, and because we're on an island, it's the transport and the cost of delivery can be higher. It shouldn't be because we have ferries going every night with that. I'd say the most frustrating thing here is that when you go to order something online and it says they can't ship here, all they need to do is to put in the postcode, and because it's a separate country, so to speak, it's a different, it's a sovereign state. Um, Effectively, all that needs to happen is the companies that you're ordering from, all they need to do is add it as an option on the back end, which is the same price as the UK because we use the Royal Mail. But people haven't done it. So that's why it says they can't deliver. So we have to go around the houses and do that kind of stuff. Speaking of deliveries, I've got delivery coming from Rising Tides, who I don't know if you've been on the website. Tides. I'm trying to get the bloody thing up. Hang on. Wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute. Right. So I'm breathing like an old man. But yeah, so sorry, Justin. In answer to your question, for me, cost of living is fine. It's comparable to like Manchester or one of the northern cities. A little bit more expensive than like real rural because of the distance and being an island. However, compared to London, it's much more manageable. And also, all I would say is, and this again, this is not a knock on anyone from where I used to live. Well, it is, but I won't call it a knock. There's so much less pretentiousness over here. People don't give a shit about the way that they look in terms of like all the gubbins and all the fancy Calvin, whatever the new fashion is. People just don't care. And for me, that's a very positive thing. People are very relaxed, sometimes too relaxed. But there's a very relaxed environment here where people enjoy themselves a lot more. They have fun. They have a lot of intent, like we talked earlier, but it's a very, very relaxed way of life. And for me, that's productive. When you can be relaxed, like this morning, I was sat out having my coffee, holding a fucking cocoon in my hand in the sun before I went to work. I live next to a farm, hearing the sheep bleating and the birds singing, not a single car noise, nothing other than the noise of a bloody quiet little local farm, having a coffee. For me, I would rather have no fancy clothes or fancy cars or anything like that and just live in that because I'm 40 with kids and that's just for me. I get to do that. I get to drive to the gym. I get to do what I love and then I come home and be with people that I love. It's just bliss. Um, so even if it was slightly higher cost of living, I'd I'd make it work. Um, Now, sorry, back to what I was talking about. Rising Tides. So Rebecca was on the show earlier, and since she was on the show, I've seen her twice at two different events. But she came back from the games where she volunteered again. She said she wasn't going to, but she did. She came back with a load of holy balls. Now, I think this sold out. Okay, well, good job. I got mine in. But what she did get was, oh, they sold out as well. Is the oil gone? She bought back a load of TDC oil. I think it must have gone. Oh, good for you anyway, Rebecca. That's awesome. Now, all the profits of this, by the way, each year it changes, but 2025 profits are all going to the Academy program, um, which is run by Hannah, who I've had on the show a couple of times. Going strength to strength, this place. And I know I keep bringing it up, and I can't, but it's such a it it encompasses everything that we love about what we have. The people, the work ethic, getting kids involved, rehabilitation, CrossFit, coaching, community, activity, working with schools, driving people. It's got everything. And they're such a good group of people. So they really deserve everything that they're getting at the moment. British weightlifting worked with them very well as well, which is cool. Um, right. Coming up to 12:30. I've got to go watch some cars smash into each other. It should be fun. First time we're doing that. Weather looks all right. Gonna go for a quick walk first in the woods, which is around the corner again. But yeah, Savon's on in 2.5 hours with the 2024 CrossFit Games champion James Sprigg. So I might be in the chat chatting absolute rubbish. I had someone say to me the other day, "Why are you so different in the chat than you are when you're in person?" Because I want to be, dickhead. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely day. Hope you have a lovely week. Train hard, move with intent, move with purpose. And I will see you all on Tuesday with Matthias. Have a lovely day, everyone. Thanks for joining me, everyone. And I'll speak to you all soon.